Hey everybody, it's too rainy or I'd be outside in front of the theater, but I am making my first trip to the actual theater here in Athens, Alabama. And Athens, Alabama is a pretty small town, so I have no idea what this theater is going to be like. And just so you know, it actually still has a drive-through attached, or a drive-in, I mean. So at some point I might actually go to a drive-in movie. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, tonight I'm going to be seeing A Quiet Place, starring Emily Blunt. I don't know too much about this movie. I like trying to go into movies not knowing a whole lot about them. So hopefully I can kind of just take them in the way that they were intended. The only thing I know about it, and we'll see if I'm right, is that I don't know if it's like post-apocalyptic or an alternate reality. I think it might be kind of post-apocalyptic and not exactly zombies, but maybe creatures. Anyway, I think the basic concept is that everyone has to be super duper quiet. And if they make any sound, they will attract these creatures to kill them. I think that's what it's about. And I think it might center around a family in this environment trying to survive. So it's about a day later, and I thought I would go ahead and now do my review of A Quiet Place. But first I'll talk about the theater. So as I mentioned, it is a working drive-in theater. And as I drove out of there, it was a rainy night, cold. It's actually been cold lately. There was a movie showing on the drive-in. I don't know which one it was. I didn't pay that close of attention, but there was something showing there. So my initial impressions of A Quiet Place were correct. I'm not going to include any spoilers until maybe the very end of this, so you should be safe. I'll just give that the basic idea. And actually, there's no reason to really spoil this plot much. The concept is strong. I would say first impression is it's a really good little thriller movie, horror thriller movie, creature movie, probably one of the best creature movies in a long, long time. This will definitely kind of become a minor, I think, classic. So, basic concept, as already stated, and everyone I think has been talking about it, I think this is going to get a little bit of buzz, is that there are creatures on Earth, and we don't know how they got here. It doesn't really matter. They're just here, and it's days into their invasion, or I mean, I'm assuming they're aliens, but maybe they're from another dimension. I don't know. Anyway, it's so many days into this when it starts, and we're basically with this family and how they are trying to survive in this new world where you have to be super duper quiet or you will be attacked. And they get attacked quickly. You know, the minute a big noise is made, you better have a escape plan or some kind of alternate plan to get out of that area or to distract the creatures. That's the only other way, is another sound maybe distract them. Or they're going to come running at you fast, and they're gonna get you. And you see that pretty early on in the movie, so you kind of know what the stakes are. That being said, at first I was a little like, well, everyone knows sign language, isn't that handy, and all this kind of stuff. The daughter is deaf, so they already knew sign language, presumably, and that way they kind of have a leg up as far as how they are going to be able to communicate in a really quiet way. And then so it's a really short movie, which is good. It's only 90 minutes, nice tight thriller. They use a variety of techniques to be quiet, and I won't go into all of them, but they're all pretty logical, and they all seem like the kind of things you might come up with. I don't know if they come up with them quickly enough to survive, but they do make logical sense, the things that they have come up with, to be as quiet and to still communicate in that kind of world. Comparisons, I guess to me it's a kind of a cross between a lot of other genre movies that are very iconic. So you've got a little bit of Tremors in there, but Tremors of course is a lot more campy and goofy. This is taken straight serious. Got a little bit of maybe Night of the Living Dead, or even Signs a little bit. The idea of like a family that is your focus, and not really knowing too much what's going on in the rest of the world. You have a few little news clippings and a few little reports that give you clues as to how much society is still around. But it's pretty post-apocalyptic as far as how many people are around. I'm sure you can delve into metaphors and all that kind of stuff, and technology and living a simpler lifestyle and so on and so forth. But technology is not, seen as really necessarily a total negative in this movie. They use technology too to help themselves survive. So that being said, the basic plot structure is the first third. If you're going to be bored or it's going to be slow, it's probably going to be the first third of the movie. So you got to kind of stick with it a little bit. They do give you a little bang right out of the gate, and then after that, it slows down for a little bit. I would say for about the first 30 minutes, you're really with the family, and you're really just seeing kind of their day-to-day life and how they currently survive. But also in that first 30 minutes, there's some interesting little clues and things given to you that you don't quite understand. For example, in the first third, there is a shot of a box thing that the dad's building, and there's like an oxygen mask. You're like, well, what's that about? And I'm not going to tell you, but it does come into later in the movie. The second third, some things this is where I'm not going to really get into spoiler territory. The second third, basically, you start to have the buildup of the situation where you do get a little creature interaction, as well as some situations that are set up which make you know that something's going to go down. And then the final third is almost fully interactions with the creatures and their attempts to survive. So that being said, it's really good, really taut, really well directed. All four actors, the daughter and the son, I don't know their names, but they're both excellent, and everyone has to be, because they don't talk too much. They have to do a lot with just their mannerisms and with their facial expressions and with some talking, but you've got to do a lot with pure straight up acting, which is great. And the father is John Krasinski, which I believe is the director from The Office. This is where you probably best know him. He's also, I believe, married to, or at least having a relationship with Emily Blunt. I'm not too familiar. Emily Blunt, of course, she's really the standout in this, probably the most striking actor in the whole movie, but she has to kind of carry a lot of scenes herself. There's several scenes where she's alone and she's just doing it. Amazing good work from her. Okay, right here, short pause. I will get into a little bit of spoiler territory at this point. So there's a couple things towards the end. If I have any beef with this movie at all, it's how they figure out how to kill the creature. So hopefully you're not listening if you don't want to know. So the creature's chasing them throughout the movie, and there's a couple of spots where you find out that the hearing aid that the father's been trying to make for his daughter has an effect that causes pain for the aliens. At one point, they're behind her, and she doesn't know they're there. And the closer they get, there's a feedback loop, because they must send out like a signal, like a sonar signal, to kind of echolocate, kind of like a bat would. Well, when they do that, it's getting amplified by her hearing aid and coming back to them louder, and it's going to a loop, and it's causing them, closer they get to her, it's causing them a feedback loop, which is causing pain, because there's so much ear. Their creatures are kind of like a lot of ear. They can get hurt by that. So we discovered that in a couple scenes, she doesn't know, but in a couple scenes, they're getting hurt by that. Then in the very end scene, when they're finally basically trapped and the creature's coming down into the basement kind of area with them, they're going to be dead. The daughter figures it out. She sees what the effect her hearing aid's having on the creature, and she amplifies it through the microphone and the little amplifier that he has down there for his radio kit, and causes it intense pain, which causes it to fall down. Then the mother is able to shoot it in the head and kill it. So for me, it's almost like Swing Away in Signs. So you almost get a groaner out of that, but you accept it. It's believable enough. And the one thing that I think also makes it work pretty well is that right after that, you do get to see on the monitors that they have in their basement of the the property around them, you get to see that because of that gunshot, other creatures are running towards them. And the mother and daughter are now like steeling themselves to have to fight them. You know, the mother's got the shotgun and she cocks it. And that's kind of the final like get ready for action shot. And the daughter's ready to like amplify the sound through the speakers. They're basically ready for battle. And I think that open ending kind of helps undercut the little bit of a Deus Ex Machina that you're getting with the figuring out the earpiece will kill them thing. Because it's almost a little too convenient. And you're not sure that really they may not survive the onslaught. From the notes you see on the wall, there's probably only 3 creatures in their area, and they've killed one of the 3, so only 2 are coming after them. But by that time in the movie, you know these 2 are pretty powerful and pretty hard to kill. And you're not really sure it's only 3. There could be 20 coming. So there's a really good chance they're not going to survive this, and no one's going to know how to kill these creatures. So it could still be the end of the world. So all that being said, it's a great movie. I would definitely, for people who like horror and for creature movies and kind of really tense little, you know, like Night of the Living Dead, you know, where you're kind of like, you know, people stuck in a house with some sort of an onslaught and it's just them versus the enemy kind of a movie. It's really good for those. So hope you guys enjoy A Quiet Place. Bye.